they wish and they wish and they wish and they wish and they wishing on me. Yeah.
Welcome back to my channel, guys. Epitome of Factual. It is me, Ariel Weisner, live in the flesh, you guys. I know it has been a while since I have recorded a video. I apologize. I know that I said a while back that I was going to remain current, but you know, life has had some ups and downs. I've been having some issues, and YouTube has been the last of my concerns, just to keep it real. I don't get a check, y'all. I don't get a check. But nonetheless, you guys, as you can see from the title above, it is my 10-year anniversary in the Air Force, and I have decided to do a tag. I don't know if it's necessarily a tag, but these are common questions that I get as a recruiter, and I thought that I would answer them for my 10-year anniversary, place it on YouTube, and hopefully it is helpful for someone. So before I get into the video, you guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button as well if you like the video, if the information is good for you, or if not for you, for someone that you may know, okay? Also, hit that notification bell for whenever I do post a new video. All right, so the first question is, when did you go to basic training? I went to basic training April 29th, 2008. I was on a Greyhound bus heading to basic training, y'all. Never forget that day. Next question is, where all have you been stationed? I have been stationed in only 2 locations in my 10 years of my career. No, I am not happy about this. No, I'm not proud about it. I wish I had more locations that I could, you know, talk about, but I've only been stationed in 2. I was in Dover, Delaware for 6 years, 3 months. And then I was stationed in my current location, which I'm assigned to Patrick Air Force Base. But I am considered a geographically separated unit because I am about 3 hours south of my base. So I'm technically assigned to Patrick Air Force Base, but I am not stationed on that base, okay? Have you been deployed? Yes, I have been deployed 3 times, you guys. My first time I deployed back in 2009, 2010, I went to Iraq. I was at a small FOB called Cobb Spiker. In 2011, January to July, I was in Qatar. And then in 2012, 2013, I went to Abu Dhabi. Okay, so yes, I have deployed 3 times. Do I have any regrets about joining the Air Force? I don't have any regrets about joining the Air Force. I do have 2 regrets, but they have nothing to do with joining. Well, they do, kind of, sort of. But my first regret that I have is I wish I would have joined straight out of high school. I went to college for about 2.5 years, 3 years, I can't remember. And college was fun. College was an experience in its own, but I didn't get the traditional college experience that a lot of people like look in on movies and they hear about and stuff like that. I went to a school that was about an hour away from home, so I was home almost every day, almost every weekend. And so I really didn't get the full college experience that a lot of people rant and rave about. I don't feel like I wasted time, but I do feel like if I would have joined the Air Force sooner, I could be further advanced in my career. But things happen the way they happen for a reason, and I'm okay with that. But if I could go back and do anything else over, I would join straight out of high school. My second regret is I wish that I would have been stationed overseas. I know you just said like this is her 10-year anniversary, like what is the problem? Like why are you worried about it? Or whatever the case may be, like you can still go overseas. Yes, I can still go overseas, but honestly, you guys, when I first joined the Air Force, I was in a relationship where it was more beneficial for us to stay stateside because we were lucky enough to be on a base together where we didn't have to be married. Okay, so I was young in a relationship, so I was like, hey, we're not gonna put nothing on our overseas list, and we're just gonna stay stateside. Of course, that relationship didn't work out, so I did put in to go overseas, but the cards never fell that way, and I ended up getting picked up to be a recruiter instead. So once I became a recruiter, it's kind of hard for you to go overseas and be a recruiter overseas. As of right now, it looks like I will never be stationed overseas. But I kind of regret it. I'm not gonna lie. I really wanted to submerge myself in another culture. You know, if I had kids, you know, I really wanted to raise my kids in another country. I think that's rather dope and rather cool. So it's one part of my Air Force. Those are two things about my Air Force career that I really wish that I could have experienced a little different, but things happen the way that they have happened so far, and I'm okay with that. What advice would you give someone who is thinking about joining? The advice that I would give someone is definitely do your research. Like, before you just go into a recruiter's office, before you just sign on the dotted line and go to MEPS and swear in or anything like that, do your own personal research so that when you get to the recruiter's office, you already have an understanding of what is going to happen, what you're looking for, and pretty much the recruiter is just there to validate all of the research that you have done previously before coming into the office. That is the best advice that I can give. A lot of kids come into a recruiter's office with the preconceived notion that a recruiter is going to lie to you. So to prevent that from happening, just do your research. Right now, YouTube is probably the largest platform out there. So just research videos about joining basic training, what people's basic training experience was like, you know, being in the delayed entry program, how long it took this person to get a job, and etc. You know, so do your own research before you go into a recruiter's office so that you can just be a little bit more comfortable and aware and, you know, 2 steps ahead of the recruiter, so that if the recruiter do say something that's skeptical, you be like, hold up, I ain't read about that. What has the Air Force taught you? Oh man, what has the Air Force taught me? The Air Force has taught me impatience. I'm just kidding. Honestly though, I have gained a lot of impatience the older I get. But no, the Air Force has taught me how to work with others. And even though I played sports in high school and I kind of already know how to work with others, it's a difference when your career, your livelihood, and all that type of stuff is on the line. So I've definitely learned how to, you know, bite my tongue, or, you know, take the short end of the stick, or take that shift that nobody else want to take, you know, volunteer for that volunteer program or that volunteer event that nobody wants to do. Because it's good on you if you do. It's taught me a lot about discipline, because on the weekends I lack discipline, but when it comes to, you know, being a professional, the Air Force has definitely taught me discipline. Showing up to work on time, and not just showing up on time, but like 15 minutes before, you know, things like that. So the Air Force has taught me that. The Air Force has taught me independence, because when I said this before, my first duty station, I was fortunate enough to be at my first duty station with someone that I knew. So once that person was removed from that location, I had to learn how to be independent. I had to learn how to be alone. I had to learn how to stop depending on other people for my happiness. What was your basic training experience like? I get this question every single day. I went to basic training in 2008, 10 years ago. So the basic training that is in place now is not the same basic training that I went through 10 years ago. When I went through 10 years ago, it was 6 weeks. It wasn't 7.5 weeks as it is now. 10 years ago was not as bad as it was back in the early 90s, 80s, like that type of things, but it was definitely still rough. They were a little bit more aggressive. When I say aggressive, I'm not talking about they was punching and hitting on us, but, you know, they were up in our face, you know, screaming and, you know, getting their point across, a little bit aggressive, you know. So yeah, that was a shock to me. I was not prepared for that. Like, there was no YouTube videos, and if there was, I don't remember anybody talking about go watch a YouTube video about basic training. So I wasn't prepared for that. Basic training was a shell shock for me. Like, I wasn't ready for all that screaming. I wasn't ready to be living with 40 plus other girls, like showering with them, dressing with them, going to classes with them, PTing with them, eating with them. Like everything you did was with 40 strangers, and that was a lot. For 6 weeks, you live, eat, breathe with these same individuals every day, and I'm like, whew, I can't wait for you girls to go on about y'all business, child. But seriously though, you did everything with these people, and I wasn't an introvert, but basic training kind of made me an introvert. Like I did not want to talk to many people. I had about 2 or 3 people that I talked to, and that was it. Like I wasn't really friendly in basic. Also, it was hard for me because prior to me joining the Air Force, I had my own apartment, I had my own car, I was doing my own thing, I was Miss Independent, y'all. And then boom, go to basic training, and they like, hey, this is when you shower, this is when you eat, this is when you go to sleep, this is when you work out, this is when you go to class. I'm like, hold up, I'm 20 years old, you can't tell me what to do. But they did though. What did your family think about you joining? My mom's side of the family had nothing but negative things to say. They were like, you're stupid, why would you do this, you're gonna go to war and die, da da da, like all this crazy crap. And I'm like, hey, I gotta do this on my own. Like I can't sit here and live for my family. So I still made the decision to join, and it was a very good decision. If I were to call my mom today and say, hey mom, I wanna get out of the Air Force, she's gonna be like, no, you're not getting out the Air Force. What I gotta do to talk you into staying? Do I need to come cook for you? Do I need to come clean up? Like what I gotta do, because you're not getting out. But yeah, my mom's side of the family was not very happy about it. But in the end, I think that my family on my mom's side have come to, you know, appreciate me being in the Air Force. They like it, and I think that they will encourage their children or other family members to go if need be. What was the worst duty station and what was the best? So I've only been stationed in 2 places, and as I've hinted towards already, Dover, Delaware was hard on me. Like I hated I hated Delaware. Like I just hated everything about that city, that state. I hated it. If I never see Delaware again, I will be the happiest young lady in the world. So that was the worst base. Like it was so far from home, it was nothing to do. To go to a nice restaurant, you had to drive like an hour, which Philadelphia was like an hour and some change away, and that's going north. New York City was like 3 hours. Baltimore, DC was like an hour and a half west, and then they had these beaches that was only open in the summertime that was like 45 minutes to an hour south. So it was okay if you felt like driving, but in the end I was just so tired of driving. Best one is the location I'm at right now. I'm super excited. I live where a lot of people vacation, even though I don't take full access to these places that people vacation, but I live where people vacation now, and I love it. It's warm all year round. The beaches are nice. That's about it. I don't really do a lot here in Florida. Like I don't, if I have, I've already done it, and I'm like, peace out, time to go to the next duty station. But yeah, right now I would say Florida is my favorite duty station currently. Where's the best place the Air Force has sent you? On my 3rd deployment, I was able to go to Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi is about an hour away from Dubai. So that was my best place I've ever been able to, you know, be on the Air Force dime. Yeah, so like we were like going out to like concerts, and we were able to see Kanye before Kanye went crazy. So it was a nice experience there. We were able to go see Usher, we went to see Katy Perry, we went riding on the sand dunes, snowboarding down the sand dunes, ATV riding, all kinds of things. Like we were doing it all. We was going in them rich expensive malls and shopping, and we were able to go to Atlantis for Christmas. And these are all things that the Air Force provided for us. There's a outdoor rec center on base that was selling tickets, and we were just going, and that was like amazing. to be submerged in another culture and get a better understanding. You know what, you guys, I'll post some pictures from my deployment there. It was very gorgeous. We were able to go to a mosque out there. I've never been to a mosque. We had to dress up in the traditional garb. I don't know what that's called specifically, but we dressed in the garbs and we were able to go and view these beautiful, gorgeous temples. It was just crazy nice. So yeah, that's the best place that the Air Force has sent me. Question that I got was, what rank am I? I am currently a E6, and where do I see myself going? So a lot of people who are like, they've been in for a while or they've retired or something like that, they always say like the last 10 years go by like this. So I'm hoping that the last 10 years go by like this. No, seriously guys, I'm just trying to hurry up and retire. I do not see myself doing a day past 20. I know that a lot of people would look at this video and be like, you didn't say you was gonna do a day past 4 years. I know, you were right. I was not gonna do a day past 4 years, but you know, life has its circumstances and you kind of get complacent and you kind of get comfortable in this lifestyle. So I've already been here 10. Hopefully I can do another 10 and then I can retire, and I'll be married hopefully by that time, and me and my kids and my significant other can move back to Houston and live a happily ever after. Like, live happily ever after. That's the goal. But yeah, I just want to gain as much knowledge and experience out of the Air Force as I can. I have been very fortunate in the Air Force. I will admit, yes, I have been extremely fortunate. The Air Force has given me 2 associate's degrees. The Air Force has given me the ability to complete my bachelor's degree. I'm currently working on my master's degree, and this is all stuff that is paid for on the Air Force's dime. So all I have to do is go to work every day and they'll take care of my education and, you know, help me purchase my first home and things of that nature. And I'm extremely grateful. I'm extremely proud, and I'm so happy to serve. If you ask Ariel, what, 21-year-old Ariel, I would be like, nah, I'm out of this thing. But you kind of grow up and you kind of mature and you kind of look over your life like, you know what, I'll be 40 when I retire. My parents are older. My mom's 55, my daddy is 61, and they both still work. So I'm not trying to be like my parents. All right guys, so that is it, you guys. I hope that this video is helpful. You take this knowledge or you share this knowledge with someone. If you want, share this video. Share it. It's okay. It ain't gonna hurt. Just share it. Like it. Comment. Ask me questions. I'm a recruiter, so I can be able to answer any questions that you may have about enlisted, not officer. Maybe a little bit about officer, but for the most part, I'm good with enlisted. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.